Thank you, Yuba Water Agency, for participating in tonight's forum. I'm Carolynn Kearby, chair of the Government Affairs Committee, and we would like to thank everybody who is here tonight for participating and visiting with us. I would like to have a final thank you to the people that put the forum together tonight. That would be Robert Summa, Janell Willis, Jacki Lee, Celeste Brown, Nikki Rogers, and Ted Langdell. I'd also like to remind you that the Appeal Democrat will be featuring the questions and answers in their printed publication and online in the next couple of days. Now we would like to move forward with our next set of candidates that are running for Sutter County District 1 and 5. And I'm going to have Nikki Rogers brief us on the rules and procedures for this next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolynn. Okay, Sutter County District 1, Nick Micheli, incumbent, and Jeff Boone. District 5, Matt Conant, incumbent, Jeff Stevens, and Sarb Thiara. Let me just go over the order of events. I'll do it kind of briefly at this point. Each candidate will get 90 seconds for an opening statement. The committee has already prepared some questions for them. If you do have questions that you want considered, raise your hand. Tressie in the yellow will give you a comment card so you can put those down. If you're watching online, please put your questions in the comments area of the platform you're watching in on. Just make sure we keep the questions brief and make sure any question is addressed to all candidates or it will not be considered. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Rebuttals will be allowed if there is a reference to a particular opposing candidate in another candidate's answer. Those rebuttals will be allowed for up to 30 seconds. At the end of the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. No rebuttals will be allowed during those closing statements. Candidates, please direct your attention to our timekeeper, Ms. Jacki Lee. She has 3 signs, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then one that states your time is up. We do ask that you please be respectful of everyone's time and keep on track, no problem. Again, at this point, I'll turn it over to our moderators, Robert Summa and Janell Willis.
Thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. We are going to start with your 90-second introduction, and we are going to start with Matt down at the end. I can't see your stuff.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber and the Appeal Democrat for sponsoring this event, and I'd like to thank the public for attending. I think it's critical that a public is well-informed electorate to get to meet their candidates. So I'm Matt Conant, and I'm District 5 Supervisor for Sutter County for the last 7 years. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you, the citizens of Sutter County. Our family's farmed in the Rioso area for over 100 years, and I love our community. And for the last 45 years, I've served our community. When I was 18 years old, I joined the East Nicholas Fire Department and served there for 25 years. I served 30 years on the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau Board, 8 years on the Browns Elementary Board, 8 years on the East Nicholas High School Board, 13 years on the South Sutter Water District Board, and I am and 6 years on the California Farm Bureau Board as their director. I am a college graduate with a BS from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and a graduate of the California Ag Leadership Program. And I am presently serve on 18 boards and commissions for the county and the citizens of Sutter County. I also do most of the ag, reclamation, and water issues for the county. Remember, experience matters.
Thank you, Matt. Sarb?
Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Appeal Democrat. Thank you all the staff you guys putting together. Thank you all the audience from Sutter County and Yuba County. They are here to listen to their candidates. I just want to thank all my running mates that are running for this hard job. It's not easy, and I want to thank them, whether I agree or disagree with it, but it's to me, that takes a lot to be here. And I just want to talk about business experience. Myself, I've been in the ag business. I've been in the community for 52 years. And I think I am the best candidate for this supervisor position that we have available. And I demand action and hold people accountable. And transparency is priority one. And getting homeless off the streets, waterways, into shelters, treatments, housing, first models, standout enforcement in like Sacramento area, fix the dam, roads, get government out so we can get jobs done. I'm running to bring action into this community. I respect and ask for your support. Learn more about Sarb at Supervisors.com. And I want to thank Russ for being with us here in my time, what he's gone through 3 years before, and I want to thank him for being with us. Thank you.
Jeff?
Thank you, Chamber and the appeal and the audience. Good evening. My name is Jeff Stevens, multi-generational farmer and husband to Cherie for 38 years. My children are Megan, Madeline, and Sam. I have 4 grandchildren. Many people know me through the farmer's market, our store Stevens Farmhouse, which we just sold, or perhaps Say-Love, which I founded 5 years ago. I personally now sit on 3 boards that are presently my passion: the Trauma Intervention Program, TIP, Hope Point Nazarene Church, and Say-Love. I graduated from California State University, Chico. I went through an extensive leadership program and have served this community in many different ways. My wife and I have supported fundraising and service projects for law enforcement, fire, sex trafficking, creating the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and locally funding and creating school fundraisers and giving back to our area schools. These are just a few examples over the many years how I have given back to Sutter County. I started Say-Love 5 years ago to bring positive change to our community by building relationships and focusing on problems for the Yuba-Sutter area. This includes picking up trash, illegal dumping, school clothing drives, tiny libraries for books, distributions, together accomplished by working with churches, schools, private employers, service groups, and governmental agencies to help build a better connected community. I am a problem solver. I have been doing it for our community. Time's up? Ooh, okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Nick?
Thank you. I thank the appeal and the chamber for having us tonight. I think I'm going to start off with just a list of my current endorsements. I'm endorsed by Sutter County Fire Department. I'm endorsed by the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau. I'm endorsed by former Senator Jim Nielsen, and I'm endorsed by the President and Vice President of the Yuba-Sutter Stand Down. A little bit of my past: I've served as a board member for the California Prune Board. I've served as a board member of the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau. I'm also the local ambassador for the Shriners Children's Hospital in Sacramento. And I've served as the chair of the board for the Yuba-Sutter Stand Down to do their fundraising. Just a little bit about my campaign. The slogan we're using, we've borrowed from Arnold Schwarzenegger's re-election campaign, which is promises made, promises kept. 4 years ago, I made promises to the people of District 1, and thankfully, we have been able to achieve them all, every single one. I made those promises, but we did it together as a board. So I want to just talk to you a little bit about what it was that we've done. I promised you that we were going to trim the fat. We did that in the first 6 months. We cut over $600,000 in annual spending by getting rid of a underutilized health clinic, eliminating certain positions that we thought we could do without, gave sheriffs and firefighters raises, 2 of them each. Also strengthened county code so that we can enforce and crack down on audit compliance properties. And in the middle of all these financial constraints, we've been able to double our emergency fund. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Appeal Democrat and Chamber of Commerce and all of you here today. I really appreciate having this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Jeff Boone. I'm a 3rd-generation farmer and businessman from the Live Oak area, where we grow peaches, almonds, and walnuts. Some of my schooling pans from Live Oak, Yuba City, Yuba College, and probably my biggest feather in the cap is being a graduate and a fellow of the California Ag Leadership Foundation. There I was given the opportunity to speak at the Senate subcommittee in Washington, D.C. regarding the North America Free Trade Act and the MPP, which or the TPP, excuse me, the Trans-Pacific Program, which allowed farmers to trade their commodities duty-free from Canada to Mexico and along the Pacific Rim. Some of my leadership is State Delegate Chairman from the California Canning Peach Association, the Director from the California Prune Board, Director of the California Prune Bargaining Association. I spent 25 years volunteering and coaching local youth in the area with Little League, middle school, and high school basketball. There's not a better reward. My 4 main topics are roads needs repaired, homeless issues, Sutter Fire Department, and the Costco ball drop. And a thank you for coming out today. And remember, vote Jeff Boone March 5th.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now we'll start with our first question. The first question will be for you, Matt Conant. Let's go ahead and start with one of the biggest issues in Sutter County was the failure of Measure A 1-cent sales tax, general sales tax measure that would have helped fund several public safety positions, departments. It was ultimately rejected. Yuba County has a tax measure in place that helps fund road improvements or allow it to use grant money for roads instead of other necessities. Sutter County voters rejected a similar tax measure and are now and have been facing the consequences of that. Why do you believe voters rejected Measure A, and would you support another measure?
Yes, I would support another measure. The county revenue sources are only growing about 1% a year, but the expenses have grown about 3%. We're in a cost price squeeze, and we need to get out of it. And I don't think we could have done a little better job marketing it and planning it. I wish that we would have gotten more support from other organizations in the county to help us get it passed. We only lost by 800 votes. I think we can overcome that this time. And I would really like to get the chance to get this passed and to help the county out with roads, fire departments, better policing, all those things that we need in the county to help the county, and I think we can get that done. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Sarb?
I believe they didn't do a good enough job of letting people know. They was not politically done correctly. There was a lot of wishy-washy things going on behind the scenes. That's why the measure didn't pass. But it comes down to, I don't believe in bandages. I believe in fixing things right. And it takes, you got to stand up to things, bringing in more infrastructure. We got to fix our levees so where they're 200-year floods, just like our neighbors just done. And we're not doing nothing about that. We have issues. Bypass needs to be fixed. If we can't build, our little young generation will not make it in this country. I don't care what we do. We can do a 1% tax, 2%. We're going to make all these people miserable and go broke. Ain't going to happen. We need to fix the problem from the roots. The roots of this, we should be able to cut the government, get the permits, get things in this businesses in here, and make it like Jeff Boone just said it. Costco should not leave Sutter County. Costco should have been in Sutter County. We would have no issues. Thank you.
Same question for you. Why was it rejected, and would you support another?
Well, if I would have finished my last comments, trust and transparency was part of my last comment. And right now, Sutter County is lacking on some trust and transparency issues. So at this present time, I'm not for a tax increase until we address some of the issues that we have. There's a grand jury reports that have come out and made recommendations, and they have not been followed. So until we come together as a community and work together and come up with real solutions, I'm not in favor of a tax increase.
Thank you. Nick?
Yeah, so I will start off with this, and that Measure A actually passed in my district. And so would I be in favor of another tax? Absolutely. We've been working with our partners in the city and have a tentative agreement, I believe, that's just a citywide tax that will probably be coming on the ballot in November, which Sutter County gets a portion of that. And so we will be working very hard together. We have to make it official on a vote of the board and the city council. But when we do that, we will all be pushing very hard for it because obviously we need it. But not only that, we in doing that, it's not addressing the issue that we really, the primary issue, which is fire in Service Area F. So I think we also need to pursue that in that special service area. So I think we have to probably pursue both of those paths at the same time. But I do support it, yes.
Thank you, Nick. Jeff?
Well, first of all, I'm definitely not a proponent of tax increases. I think, we're all suffering right now. Inflation's put a little pinch on each one of our wallets, and we're struggling to make ends meet. In fact, the current supervisor said he's trimming the fat, but that doesn't jive with the $71 million budget increase since 2021 and 22. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to make this work. So I think possibly if we sharpened all of our pencils, that maybe we can make it happen. There's a couple of different ideas, and that may be going across the board and cutting everything by maybe everybody taking a 10% cut in all the programs and try to get a hold of our budget again.
You get a rebuttal?
No, I don't think he... Did he mention him by name?
Oh.
I don't think he mentioned you by name.
What's that? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, we're going to start with you on this one. How would you prevent homelessness in Sutter County, and where would you allocate funds to achieve that goal?
What I would do is I would look into different avenues, because avenues that they've been working with right now, it hasn't worked. We have spent so much the government funds, and we still have river bottoms that are all full. There's a way that you can do these things into like they're doing, but we still have to put the homeless people in an area where they understand. Right now, we're putting them in the middle of the populations and stuff. I don't think that is working out that great. We need to figure out a way. I don't have the 100% correct answer right now, but I guarantee you the system that they put into it, the amount of money that they have spent, millions of dollars, it hasn't worked, and it's not working. We need to have a different plan. I can review, there's other things, like put them into different cities, put them out of the areas where they want to stay, because all of them will come into the river bottoms and going back saying, and they're just going and taking out all the copper wires, and that's all they're doing. And we have a lot of problems in our communities, being a farmer, and this is all I've been dealing with. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarb. Jeff?
One thing is we have to be honest with ourselves. Homelessness is not going away. Homelessness is probably just going to continue to get worse with the cost of everything going up, housing, affordable housing, low-income housing. We have to come up with other solutions. Habitat for Humanity has a great program where they put people in and hold people responsible. We need to come up with more mental health services. There's all kinds of different aspects to homelessness. There's people who've lost their jobs, marriages that failed, all kinds of different reasons. So we have to come up with different solutions for different areas of the homeless population.
Nick?
So a couple of things. We've been actually very successful on the county side with Project Home Key that now Habitat is operating. We have the camping site that's there by the airport. Actually, we just saw quite a few people in there yesterday. And so those things are successful. Also, I know that the city of Yuba City is working on something as well, something similar to Project Home Key, and that I think will also relieve the pressure. But I think what's really going to be key in the future is what the Supreme Court decides on this case, so hopefully overturn the Ninth Circuit. And if that's the case and they're successful with that, that's going to change a lot of laws for us to be able to remove homeless from sleeping and camping out in front of businesses. So I'm really very hopeful that that will pass through the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff?
Well, homelessness is a tough subject. There's no specific plan to combat homelessness. There's a lot of root causes. There's not just one single. I mean, some people have an addiction. Some people have difficult decisions from purchasing medication or paying the rent or maybe buying food. So, there's a lot of things going on, and we need more local programs to help our local families, but we got to make sure that we don't attract new residents to our area. There's no family out there whose child needs to be out in the open. They need a roof over their head.
Thank you. Matt?
Yeah, so first of all, I think a lot of our problem with homelessness is a lack of affordable housing in our communities, and that's all over California. But we in Sutter County have made great strides towards that. We built Better Ways, which is a housing facility behind behavioral health that gives temporary housing, job training skills, resume writing, shorter cook program. It has they have in that same facility a place where people can get help with drug habits and alcohol abuse problems. Then we also opened New Haven Court, which is another facility near migrant housing, and we opened the Bay Mountain Hotel, which also provides affordable housing, and we have tried to get the homeless out of the river bottoms by the camping facility that Nick said. We have a no camping ordinance, and we've been pretty successful, I would not say 100%, but pretty successful in reducing homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question, we will start with Jeff Stevens. A common theme among candidates and public officials in general is to spend more on law enforcement, spend more on public safety, spend more. How much more should be spent on law enforcement when roads are desperately needed, as you have suggested, Jeff? What percentage of the county's budget should be dedicated to the Sheriff's Department? And what departments, other county departments, should have their budget slashed in order to spend more on law enforcement?
Well, my answer to this is rather difficult because there's so much involved in law enforcement. There's the jails, there is, the Sheriff's Department, there is all kinds of things that they have to do. So medical, I know I visited the Sheriff's Department, took a tour. The medical costs are going up incredibly because we're made to house the inmates for a longer time because we're shutting down prisons. So as I said earlier, the problem we're facing in a lot of these areas is every rural county is facing. All our costs are going up, but we don't have the revenue coming in. What we need to do is focus on the budget, bring in new business, new revenue, and have where we can do more services. So,
Nick?
Yeah, just for the record, roads in my district, we've paved or improved almost 100 miles of roads, which is the highest percentage of any district in the county. But as far as the Sheriff Department goes, yes, it is a problem. The cost of operating that jail continues to skyrocket. And with the closing of prisons, the state forcing us to house prisoners longer. Used to be that we'd house them a year and they're on to state prison. That's not the case. We're forced to pay their medical, their dental. It is a problem. We can't continue on this path. There's no way, that it's feasible. At some point, we are going to have to start cutting some of the services if we don't create new revenue sources. Which is a whole other issue because of FEMA flood mapping. But look, we'll get into that, I'm sure, in a little bit. But this board has always had a great track record of making, the Sheriff's Department an absolute priority. And that's what the public wants. And so what we're doing is a reflection of that. Oh, sorry, my time's up. But, okay, sorry.
Thank you, Nick.
I could go on all night about it.
Thank you, Nick. Mr. Boone? How much more should be spent on law enforcement? What percentage of the county's budget should be spent on law enforcement? And what county departments would you slash in order to make sure that money was spent on law enforcement?
Well, I understand that, the county law enforcement, I think they're one of the highest paid, actually, from probably Sacramento north. in my opinion, I would say that we probably should consider going down the line and everybody cut 10%, but I wouldn't cut safety programs when it comes to fire or, or the sheriff's department. That's kind of important to me. And when we talk about roads, our current supervisor says he's paved 100 miles, and I've been all over the Yuba City-Live Oak area, and I found about 4. So I think he's going to have to describe that one day for us. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
If you question that, you can talk to Neil Hay, the Director of Development Services. He's the one that's been out there paving the roads. So I said improved and paved. So yeah, that's a fact. So thank you.
Thank you, Dick. All right, Matt, question for you.
So first of all, I'd like to say that I think a board of supervisors' number one job is public safety. And the Sheriff's Department is part of that three-legged stool. And we in the Sheriff's Department, the Sutter County Board of Supervisors, have always emphasized public safety. Contrary to one of my opponent's beliefs, we have not slashed the budget of the Sheriff's Department by $1.9 million. We have increased it by $3.9 million this last year, $14 million since I've been on the last 7 years, and it's went up by 59.3% in that 7-year period. And there is a point where we can't sustain that. And we haven't gotten there yet. And I think it's critical that we do pay our officers a fair wage. And we have finally gotten there, and we've stopped the hemorrhaging of officers from the county. And I would like to continue that with fire as well. And we are working on the fire as we speak, and we have, sorry, thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Sarb.
Can I have that question repeated again, please?
How much more should be spent on law enforcement in Sutter County? And if you are going to want to spend more, what county departments should be slashed in order to make up that funding?
Thank you. If I am elected your supervisor, safety is priority one. But I don't believe in cutting things that I don't know about, what budgets are out there. But I do believe in bringing in more infrastructure into this community, county, city, state, wherever it takes. And I'm even thinking about, we have too much overlap in this government right now. Too much. I mean, we've got city and county doing a lot of things together. We need to be looking at other avenues out of the box. And nobody's willing to do that. There's ways to run this business. I am a farmer, second generation farmer here. I know what it's like to cut a budget every year when we're getting 20 cents for walnuts when it was $2.15. And we are surviving. We are better than that. As all together, as a community, we can make this thing work. We need to bring infrastructure, and we need to cut budgets where it needs to be. We need to go to Washington, D.C. and bring the money in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nick, we're going to start with you on this one. Okay. There seems to be a loss of trust in government in Sutter County. What steps would you take to rebuild trust with Sutter County residents?
We try every day. I'm not sure why that is. We are one of, if not the most efficiently run counties in the whole state. And I can prove that to you with the statistic that for small counties under a population of 200,000, we have the least amount of employees per capita. I said this the other day, and the previous question was, where do you cut from, right, to keep funding the Sheriff's Department? And there's nowhere left to cut. I made a joke about this at one of our meetings, but our public works was at 13 or 14 employees. It's down to 3 or 4. And I made the joke that I can tell it's a problem because I can see how high the weeds are outside my office window. It's a problem. So,
thank you, Nick.
Good. Thanks.
Jeff?
What was the question again? Can you give it to me one more time?
I sure can. This came from the audience, everyone. This seems to be a loss of trust in government in Sutter County. What steps would you take to rebuild trust with Sutter County residents?
Well, first of all, I think that we need to really improve our relationships and with the people and the neighboring municipalities. It's really important. Current supervisors missed over 2/3 of the assigned committee meetings and is not there to build relationships. And that's what we're experiencing. And if as supervisor, I will attend those meetings and I will work on relationships weekly.
Yes, thank you very much. That's absolutely not true. The thing is, lots of us, that's why we have alternates. A lot of us have other obligations. I would say, at certain times, the only board meetings that I've ever missed was because I've had COVID, and not allowed in the building, where other elected officials I've seen take off entire months to go on European vacations. Not me, but that's why we have alternates, and we cover for each other. That happens all the time. I'll cover for Matt, he'll cover for me, and we got each other's back all the time. So those things happen a lot, so I'm not sure why I'm getting singled out for that, but okay.
Thank you, Nick. Matt, we'll go with you. Would you like me to read it again?
What's that?
Would you like me to read it again?
One more.
The question?
Do you need me to read the question again?
No, I thought it was something else, so I started jotting notes down. But trust in the government, I try to always be transparent and tell the people why and how I vote and why I vote. And I've always voted my conscience and never voted for a special constituent group or constituent. And I actually thought the question originally was about, what can we do to be more efficient? And I was thinking about like behavioral health is by county. We do tri-county, Calusa, Sutter, and Yuba County Juvenile Hall. We have for Child Protective Services out of Yolo County and Calusa and Sutter. And things like that make it more efficient and cost the county less. And I think that would help with transparency too for the public, because they know we're trying to save the county's money. And we try to do that to make things more efficient. And we do that, and animal control as well for Yuba City and Sutter County.
Thank you. Sarb?
Yes, I want that question read again, please.
There seems to be a loss of trust in government in Sutter County. What steps would you take to rebuild trust with Sutter County residents?
The trust is broken in America right now, just not Sutter County. I think we all know that. But you know what? If you got open arms, Republican or Democrats, you can make anything and anything work. We are one nation. We can make it happen, but we have to work together. Yes, I have to open up. I'm at Sikh Temple. I'm a president of the Sikh Temple. I've been there for 3 years. We had one small project that people thought for 40 years it couldn't be done. The community brought $2 million to do that project. It was a trust, and that's a $4 million project. We did it with $2 million. And my fellow members are sitting out there in the audience, and they can back that up. It's a trust. That's how you trust people. You got to be open arms, and reach a Republican, reach a Democrat on the other side. Don't be strangers. If you want people to back you up, you got to put your books out, let them know. See what it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarb. Jeff?
Building trust is done through transparency and relationships. We have to create those relationships to further our people trusting us. The grand jury report, when you make recommendations and they're not followed, that doesn't build trust. If there's a reason that it's not followed, it should be come out and made very, very clear why it wasn't followed. Budgets skyrocketing, that doesn't build trust without meeting with the people and explaining to them why it's skyrocketing. Maybe there's a reason to, maybe there's not, but we should have regular meetings with the public, and not wait a year or 18 months before you hear from your supervisors. So I would say building trust is meeting and talking with your constituents.
Thank you. And for the next question, we'll start with you, Mr. Jeff Boone. Nick mentioned the floodplain issue. Sutter County currently has over 60% of it is undevelopable, basically, because it's in a floodplain. With those limitations in its tax base, how will you help Sutter County grow and thrive?
Well, in my opinion, I believe that the building should happen up here in the north part of the county. I don't understand why everybody keeps asking us people that live up here in the north, the taxpayers, to go down south and pay to have it developed. I mean, we've got the levee, we've got the wall going through the levee. Well, is that for Live Oak and Yuba City more so, or is it more about taking care of the South County? I'm all about taking care of the North District. We're talking about Yuba City, Live Oak, and those areas in between. And there's plenty of land. If we increase the size of our cities, I think we will have all the economic development we'll need. But we will need to bring in some infrastructure, primarily in the wastewater treatment facility, and then that way we can also bring in ag processing as well.
Thank you. Matt?
So, first of all, 68% of the county is in the FEMA floodplain. 11% is in the Buttes. That's 79% you can't build on in Sutter County. We only build about 30 houses a year in the county proper, not counting the city of Yuba City. 30 houses a year. We probably burn down or tear down that many more. We've got to figure a way to get all the levees improved, which we've been working on. I've been on the Subuca board for 7 years, chairman twice. We've done all the way except for 99 to Sacramento River. That's 1.6 miles to finish. We hope done 25. We also have to do the bypass. But in the meantime, we need to pursue development of industrial development in South Sutter County in the Newtown area, Sutter Point. 3,700 acres of industrial, 3,500 acres of residential. I support industrial development over residential. We need those giant distribution centers there. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarb?
We need to fix our levees is priority one. And I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of hearing that it can't be done. It's going to take this long, that long. But I'm telling you one thing, overnight, Sacramento can do anything they want. We have the same government that they do. Why can't we get it done? Because we have a problem. We are not holding anybody accountable. This has to happen if we're going to go. I just heard 80% we can't develop. 20%, you think we're going to pay our taxes and we're going to pay sheriff any more money? No way. You will not be able to do it. This county will go broke if we don't fix the problem that we have. We need to bring new jobs. We need to bring new infrastructure, and we need to build our levees so that way we can get the people in here and we need to get the bureaucrats out of the business. It takes 2 years to get a dam permit in this county. We have a problem. We need to fix it. And the only way we can fix it, you vote for me, get me in, and we'll get this damn thing fixed.
Thank you, sir. Jeff Stevens?
I'm tired. One of my most frustrating things when I hear we talk about this is FEMA and we cannot build the percentage that we have. I'm not satisfied with that answer. I would love to go down to Sacramento and fight for that. And I'm sure everybody that's been in office and everything else says, oh, it can't be done. I get tired of that answer. I would like to try. And hopefully I can make progress. But, everybody says it can't be done. But we have, going back to our new town area down south, we have to be on top of things. We've had committees without personnel on it, and Sacramento takes our advantage of us. We have to take efforts to fill our positions and make Newtown happen. It's been going on for 20 years, 30 years. I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's still not happening. We've got to get those jobs made, or the Newtown made, so we can have those jobs.
Thank you, Jeff. With the limitations in its tax base, how will you help Sutter County grow and thrive?
Okay. So 2 things really quick. I totally agree with Matt. Reducing the FEMA flood maps, that's key. The federal government really has put economic handcuffs on us as far as that goes. So we have been fighting very hard to get grants to get the engineering for that. Once we have that, we have what they call a shovel-ready project. Then we can wait for more federal funds to actually do the construction. As far as economic growth, we just hired 2 days ago an economic development person to go out there and really fight to get those industrial and distribution centers for down south. And the reason that we keep pushing the Sutter Point is because everybody wants to be there. We've had so many of those large businesses that have come to us. They say, we like what you have to offer, we want to be here, but we can't wait 2 or 3 years for the infrastructure. Logistically, it is absolutely perfect. I-5, airport, they all want to be there, they want to be in Sutter County, but we don't have the infrastructure. So, sorry, time's up. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. Matt, we'll start with you on this one. What are Sutter County's biggest challenges, and what's your plan to get them addressed?
Biggest challenges, and what was the last part?
What are Sutter County's biggest challenges, and what's your plan to get them addressed?
Okay, we kind of covered a lot of them. I think the FEMA flood maps are our biggest challenge. It's the federal government, it's not the state, that we have to convince. It's critical that the federal government makes and redraws the map, but we have to do the levee improvements first. And by developing South County, those levees have been improved. I serve on the SAFCA board as well, and they are the ones improving all the levees around the Natomas Basin. And those levees are up to standards. We still have to deal with the Sankey Gap, and we're going to deal with that as soon as we widen the Sacramento Weir and the Fremont Weir and the Sacramento bypass. Excuse me. And those projects will lower the water even in Yuba City as much as 2 feet in a major flood event. That's why these projects need to occur in South County and the development of Sutter Point, and get the industrial development, get these distribution centers there and generating revenue. They'll generate about $3 million per center. Thank you.
Barb?
Can you please repeat that question?
What are Sutter County's biggest challenges, and what's your plan to get them addressed?
Biggest challenges as levees. Levees need to be fixed. We need to bring in more infrastructure. We need to look into a new development of sewer systems. That takes less areas, less lines. The new systems that they got in foreign countries, that they're making it work. So if their capacity can handle so much large, and we're just still with the old systems. And going to Sutter Points, I'm going to say we still have a problem there. I don't think we even have a contract done with the septic, their lines all in. They don't even have that contract. I don't know how long that's going to take, but we need to get Sutter County fixed. The only way we can do it is we need to bring more infrastructure, and we need to get our levees fixed, and we can fix our roads. We have so many, and the situation that we are in, we will not leave anything for our kids if we don't do those things and take those hard measures. Going forward, we need to have more infrastructure and fix our levees. Priorities, they have to be done.
Thank you. Jeff?
Our biggest challenge is revenue. We don't have enough revenue to provide the services that we need. So we can talk about all this other stuff, but what's coming at us is we don't have enough money. We can talk about new taxes. It's not even a Band-Aid. What we need for this state or for this county is much more than $5 million provided by the new taxes. We're, $25 million we're averaging going up a year. How do you 5 million won't do that. So what I say is we need new revenue, and that comes with new ideas, working with people to come up with new ideas and solving a problem instead of just letting it go on and on. So I would say revenue.
Thank you. Nick?
Yeah, so I mean, I won't touch on FEMA and stuff, but it's already been said, but those are very important, that and Sutter Point. But I think one thing that we haven't really mentioned too much tonight, what I think is most important that we're focused on right now, is fire and having a fully funded Service Area F. It's important. We've just got into those initial discussions on how to structure a tax for that service area. We want to make sure that it's something that the Farm Bureau is going to support and be happy with. We don't like the citizens' proposal that came out a little while ago. What we want to do is structure something that's more residential based and based on square footage, has built-in escalators that accounts for inflation, and take the burden off the farmers and the landowners. Of course, they need to pay some share, but we need something that I think is more based on structures and fair for everybody, that everybody's going to agree on. And that way we don't ever have to find ourselves in this position again. It's fully funded. We don't have to worry about it. And sorry, I'm done. Okay.
Jeff.
Yeah, hi. I think, I've been out talking to a lot of people, and their main concern is the roadways and the homelessness in the business area. And that needs to be addressed. To me, I think it's more about safety and the quality of life. The safety meaning the fire departments need to stay open. We all know if a fire department closes, guess what happens? Our insurance rates are going to go through the roof if they don't bail on us completely. We know several insurance companies left our area. The quality of life, again, the roadways. I mean, it's unheard of, the potholes that are out there in our district. And the quality of life is really kind of biting everybody. And then, of course, the third thing is we can't let businesses like Costco leave Sutter County. That's roughly a $10 million, tax revenue getter for our county, and that's slipped through our fingers. And unfortunately, our current supervisor, he didn't show up to one Yuba-Sutter Economic Development Committee meeting in 2022 and 2023. And I think it's important to build those relationships to bring those businesses here.
Nick, would you like to respond to that?
I would like to respond to that. I've told the chairman previously that meeting is at 7:30 in the morning. My wife goes to work at 7:30, 7:45, so I have to take my daughter to school every day, and I've asked some of the chairmen to take me off of that in particular committee. But in regards to Costco, Costco was never coming to Sutter County. I don't know, I want to dispel that rumor right now. We made a last-ditch effort to try to keep them from going where they were going. They had no intention of being here in Sutter County. We went to them at the end, last minute, and asked them if they would want to be here. So I want to clear that all up. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, and we're going to start with Sarb. You guys have mentioned Sutter Point here and there. It seems to always come up. I have people coming up to me all the time asking me what's happening with Sutter Point. It's been in the works for a number of years, causing frustration among some residents. Can you explain how Sutter Point will benefit Sutter County as a whole? And what will you do to try and make that project a reality?
Oh boy. Really, I know enough about that project that another 20 years is going to go by. We're still going to be figuring it out how it's going to work. And we don't know how much money, I don't have those numbers on me, how much money we have put towards that project. If the builders are putting up all the money, Sutter County is not putting up any money, I don't have a problem with things like that if somebody else is doing it. But if our folks are putting up the money, I have a problem. Because right now, we're becoming second-class citizen in Sutter County, in Yuba City, or in Marysville, if that's in front of us. Who's going to come here? Nobody. I know a lot of the voters that I got, they have a problem with it. I have to listen to the voters, which way they want to go. I will support anything that makes sense, that it's not costing our community, our county, our voters any money, and it's going to benefit our county. But right now, I don't think that's doing that. We need to fix our Yuba City right now, and that's where it needs to be done. Thank you.
Jeff Stevens?
I go back to relationships, trust, and transparency. It hasn't been working down there at Thomas. I've been walking the streets for several days now, and I notice every house that I come to, Amazon is there. Amazon is taking all of our sales tax revenue because it's down there in Sacramento. We have to get those types of things up here in Sutter County. Houses don't make us money, but wholesale type businesses such as that could make us money, that area. But it's been floundering. It's been floundering for years. We've had people jump off committees and not put them back on committees that set there, and in the meantime, Sacramento takes advantage of it, and we lose possibilities over and over again. We continue to lose possibilities for this area. We need smart people in places that will get the job done.
Nick?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Sure.
Okay.
How will Sutter Point benefit Sutter County as a whole, and what will you do to try and make that project closer to a reality?
Yeah, well, it's going to be huge. I mean, it is going to be very profitable for the county when we finally are able to get industrial and distribution centers there. We've also had some ag processing facilities who have talked about wanting to be in the area. The problem is we don't have the money to put in for the millions of dollars of infrastructure. We have to wait on the developers there. And they are having an issue moving forward with the school district down there. We think the school district is being somewhat unreasonable. We're working on that, but we do have some legal remedies to move that along. We're trying to be nice about it, but we're about to stop being nice. But it would be huge. But yeah, the thing is, we just have to wait for the infrastructure, and there are some avenues that I can't talk about legally right now that we can take to kind of move the school district along and get it going a little faster. Thanks.
Thank you. Jeff Boone?
Yes. I don't know how many people have been down to take a look where this development's going on. I drove down there this last winter just to take a peek. You know, they're calling it Sutter Lake. Does anybody know that? Sutter Lake. So I thought we better take a peek. Drove in, 3 foot of water. Tractors are underwater, loaders are underwater, and it's just flooded. We're going to build houses in a floodplain. I mean, it was deep out there. Frankly, I'm not a big proponent of Sutter Point. I know the big warehousing programs might be a beneficial to our county, but I think we need to build them up a little closer up here by Yuba City and maybe even Live Oak as far as that goes. There's plenty of land up there. We've got good roadways as far as the where they're located. I think we can set it up, but Sutter Point or Sutter Lake isn't where I want to go. I don't want to take your tax dollars and move it down to the south of the county. If the developers want to build it, let the developers build it. I'm talking about law enforcement, fire department, schools, the works. It should not come out of our locals' pockets.
Thank you, Jeff. Matt Conant.
Okay. So first of all, these distribution centers that have been mentioned are built mostly in the Sacramento Air Park. It's almost fully built out. Our development is right across the county line from the Sacramento Airport. Each one of those distribution centers are roughly 1 million square feet. They generate back to the county roughly about $1 million in sales tax, because don't forget where that tax is generated is where it goes to. So all that tax from all that product being delivered to Sutter County and all the other counties around stays in Sacramento County. But it also generates about $2 million worth of property tax for the county. So if we had half a dozen of those in Sutter County, right across the line from Sacramento County, this would be a wonderful thing. And the developers have paid all the costs of all the development occurred down there. They're just waiting for a few things to get their sewer and water lines in, and the components are almost there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wrap it up with your 90 minute. Please don't talk for 90 minutes. We all want to go home. No. How about your 90-second last statements, please? And Jeff, we'll start with you.
Me? Okay.
No, Stevens.
Oh,
Okay. A few weeks ago, we had a forum much like this down in Sutter Basin, Robbins. There were questions asked of all three of us. A woman got up and asked how we would help with getting food to the families that did not have the resources to meet their needs. To me, this was a say love question, and the next day I was at the food banks discussing with Marie Ball and coming up with a solution for Robbins. This is what can happen when you have the relationships and trust of individuals. I have since gotten back emails thanking me for my intervening. Often people want to help and can help only if they know the problem. Staying quiet, not presenting information, or not responding to issues does not build trust in our local government. We all need to be part of the solution facing this county. Then the question that got me, a young lady got up and asked a very simple question, which haunted me for days. I did not give an adequate answer. and I did not hear a good answer, in my opinion, from anyone. The question was simple. What does a supervisor do? I talked about the budget. I talked about public safety. I talked about being out in the public and so on. I had heard how many people of Robbins felt forgotten, culverts being out, sewage pipes leaking, non-drinkable water, roads, people just feeling like they had no voice. Then 2 nights later, in the middle of the night, where it usually happens, the answer came to me. Besides our number one thing, securing public safety, I feel our most important thing is being the voice of the people. I do not want to hear, as I heard that night, I think they just don't care about us. They won't return my calls. They won't do anything about it. We have tried. I have given up. If I'm elected, I will yell loudly and often to try and help come up with solutions for problems and build trust. That they have a representative that listens and takes action, not just get lost in the quagmire of government. In the South County, but I will fight as much as I can to solve needs. Thank you.
Nick, are you ready?
Oh, for me? Okay. Hey, well, first let me start by thanking you guys all for hosting us tonight. Really appreciate it. I had fun. I think it was very informative to everybody, at least I hope it was. But I think there's a lot more for us to talk about in District 1, which is why I reached out to my opponent's campaign and asked for a one-on-one debate, but haven't heard a response. But what do you think, Jeff? You interested? No? All right. So just want to remind everybody of promises made, promises kept. Every single campaign promise that I made to the people of District 1, we've been able to achieve it, and very proud of that. But I want to reiterate this. We did it all as a team. It was all of us as a board working together, our CAO and staff. Credit goes to everybody. I want everybody to know that this last 4 years has been the great honor of my life, being able to serve the citizens of Sutter County and represent the people of District 1. And I would be very honored to have your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff?
Yes, thank you again to the Chamber of Commerce and the Appeal Democrat and all of you that waited through the entire night to be here. Thank you again. With me as supervisor, we're not going to miss another big brick and mortar like Costco. Kmart Shopping Center would have been there. It would have made it happen. And due to the lack of engagement, we let $10 million annual tax revenue slip through our fingers in Sutter County. So instead, we're working on a 1% sales tax to generate not even that much. And what are you thinking? I don't know what they're thinking. It just doesn't make sense. The roads are a mess. And my opponent says that he's been out there, paved 100 miles, and now he says he improved them. Filling a pothole is not improving a road. That's not improving a road. We need some serious work out there, and it needs to be addressed right away. As supervisor, I will attend committee meetings, and I'll be present at the annual county's budget, unlike our current supervisor. I'll ensure District 1 and Sutter County always gets their fair share, and their voices will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt?
So, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the Board of Supervisors, District 5, for the last 7 years as your board member. I am truly honored to be here, and I've always tried to do the best job I could and meet with the citizens on a regular basis. We've had numerous meetings in Robbins and all the other communities around. My district encompasses over 48% of the landmass of the county, and you do have to get around a lot and see a lot, and I have done that. And we have improved a lot of things in the county. For example, we have been, when I took office, our reserves were only 1.1 million. Today, we have 9.8 million in reserves. That's not enough according to the state of California. They want us to have twice that, but we only had like 10% of what we were supposed to have at the time. Now we're getting there, but that doesn't mean our problems are solved. We still need to work on the levies, and I've been very diligent about working on them as a SUBUCA chair and working on the SAFCA board. Numerous levy projects have been done. We're not done, but we're gaining on it. And these projects don't occur overnight, but they take time. And we have to keep working on them to get there. And the other thing that we need to talk about is funding for limiting truck yards and funding for the sheriff. We have to keep going on limiting commercial truck yards. I favor getting them on 113 and 99, where it's safer to get trucks to and from the roadways. And I think that we need to fund the sheriff's department adequately, and we've been doing that, but we need to work on Area F fire. Those revenues from Area F fire, our special assessment district, were set up in the early 90s and have no escalator, so they don't increase much because we only build 30 houses a year, as I said earlier. And I would just like to close by saying experience matters. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sarb?
First of all, I want to thank the Chamber, Appeal Democrat, thank the audience, thank you, the moderators, everybody. You guys have done a great job. And also want to thank my team sitting out there. Majority of my team is here. Tajinder, Sabi, Hernay, and Money in the back. It's hard work sitting here in front of you guys. It takes a team behind the scenes getting all these things done. And I just want to tell you guys, if I'm elected as your supervisor, I will be the voice of the people. I will demand action. I will get results. And keeping neighbors safe, focus on crime, creating jobs, getting government out of the way, improving our infrastructure, making government more open and transparent so citizens know what the government is doing and can hold them accountable. And finally, change the way to deal with homelessness. I'm not a fancy speaker or politician, but I know how to get things done. And I have a proven record that I can get them done. And I will demand real action and accountability. Thank you again. And thank you to all the candidates sitting beside me, because it is very hard to do what we're doing. Especially, I just want to ask for your support and a vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Round of applause. I just want to thank you guys for your presence and engagement tonight. The questions were great as we strive to promote an informed decision-making in our community. My name is Janell Willis. I'm the Executive Director with the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce. And first off, I want to thank my team. I didn't do this alone. This is my first one, so holy cow. Russ Hogue, Ted Langdell, he's live. This will be available on our Facebook to watch again, as well as Ted's website as well. I also have Jacki Lee, Celeste Brown, Nikki Rogers, and Carolynn Kearby. They're my GAC team, which I adore and need. Great, and they did a lot for me. Yuba County, we appreciate you doing this for us as well, and we'll see you guys again in November. Make sure you vote. Good night.